right, we're back with yet another episode of the Slack Doctors to inject some truth into your souls. I am Dr. Chip.
I am Dr. Bob.
And I don't know, we got a multitude of things to talk about today. One of the things I should mention, I rolled the dice today coming down here on the bike. They're saying it's going to be raining by the time I go home. I don't see it, but I could get wet on the way home, which the only problem of that being that, my laptop is in that little case. I don't think it'll get wet though. But anyway.
Yeah, put it under your jacket or whatever you got. Keep it on
that's
your
a good
chest
idea.
on the front.
Well, I'll have to see how it looks when I walk out there. I mean, it's kind of cloudy out, but I don't see rain anywhere, so I don't know. I
might have to pull the old hide under the overpass for a few minutes.
No, I got a feeling today if I did get any rain, it's one of those just duck down and get through it, and then you're dry by the time you get where you're going kind of things. I don't think it's going to be really bad rain per se, just patchy rain. But anyway.
I remember the first time I ever was on a motorcycle in the rain. It was actually on a dirt bike, and I was not wearing proper protection whatsoever. And I was shocked at how much it hurt. Like, like little pins, like pins and needles of the raindrops. I would have never guessed.
Yeah. That's literally why I wore my jacket today, because it's really kind of hot, and it is a summer jacket, so it's kind of like just mesh. But even that will keep the rain off from making it sting when it hits you, at least.
Right. So, that's the old argument: is running in the rain, is it better or worse? Do you get more wet? You spend less time in the rain, but you probably get more surface rain. You probably get more hitting you.
That depends on your windshield. I've been on bikes that. I've been riding through the rain, and literally, I think I'd look back at, I had a passenger too going, "Are you getting wet? I'm not getting wet. You getting wet?" Nobody was getting wet. Yeah. It was pouring down rain. We were going, it's like nobody was getting wet. It was sometimes
I've had 3 bikes. I never had a bike with a fairing.
Yeah, there you go. That's you need. You need the windshield, or else you're getting wet. Yeah,
certainly didn't have one on the dirt bike. I had a 1969 Hodaka Super Rat.
Nice.
That thing did not have any kind of. It didn't even have a muffler. Really, it was like a straight pipe.
Yeah,
it was so loud.
Those things are bare bones, and whatever you can get on.
If you started it in the neighborhood, you had you essentially lit a fuse or started a countdown timer. You had about 10 to 15 minutes max before the police showed up at your house to tell you to turn that shit off.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, let's. You want to dive into some voicemails?
Well, it looks like we got 5 of them. There you go. Let's go oldest to newest.
There you go.
Oh, good. This is about Keg's Breath.
All right. So I just saw a story that Pete Keg's Breath fired the senior Army chaplain, apparently because they've been getting so many conscientious objectors that just don't want to fight for Israel. And this chaplain was granting them all exemptions.
All right. Quick pause. I thought conscientious objector applied to opposing the draft. Like if they tried to draft you, you could claim to be a conscientious objector. I didn't know you could do that once you were already in.
No, didn't you see that movie with the guy from Doss, the guy from World War II that was a conscientious objector, but he saved like a fucking 1,000 guys or something in battle?
Yeah, but he was in as a medic, wasn't he? Or medic or a chaplain?
But he started out as they wanted him to be infantry, and he said, "No, I ain't touching the rifle." That's one of the big points of the movie. And that, you can be in there, and you can, as a matter of fact, you can go through the whole time and say, yeah, I'm absolutely willing to kill everybody. And then at any point go, I've changed my mind. That means, and that's clearly what's happening, because people are like, hey, this is bullshit. And to me, this is great news. I mean, if we ever get the military on the side of right and truth and justice in America, it's over for these idiots. Right. They won't be able to enforce anything. So, yeah.
Well, that's also kind of been one of those arguments that's been used when they say, if they're going to bring the military in to deal with any kind of, civilian uprising or civilian problem. In a sense, it seems like sometimes the military guys are better trained and more moral than the police.
Well, that's why
That's
why they invented ICE, so they could go right around that. That's the whole point of, let's get these brown shirt Nazis so they don't have to follow the rules. Exactly. Anyway, I think you can skip the rest of that one. That was pretty much it on that one.
Reading through it. But yeah, basically the rest of that is what we just said.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Go to the next newest one. Here we go.
Yeah, I wanted to revisit a topic that we mentioned on week 1 of the Charlie Kirk assassination, and that is either one of these three agencies, or all three, the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, either one or all three know exactly what happened that day. We have satellites that I'm sure, I don't know what prioritizes what the satellites are pointed at any given time, but I'm thinking somebody down at, some algorithm somewhere said, hey, maybe we should point a satellite at this event just to see what happens. I guarantee you somebody knows exactly what happens. Not to mention, let's talk about the terabytes of evidence. Terabytes, not gigabytes, terabytes. And you got to remember, everybody at that event with the cell phone, that's evidence. And trust me, they're not calling people up saying, bring us your cell phone. They're just taking it.
Well, yeah, not only does the likelihood that one or more of those three-letter agencies knows what's going on, but the people involved in doing it know exactly what's going on. The guy who did it.
Are you suggesting Tyler Robinson's not the lone gunman?
I think there might be a pretty strong evidence at this
How
point, or
dare
rather
you?
lack of evidence
You
to
must
say that
be
he
a-
is.
You must be a Candace follower. That's what everybody says on X. As soon as you don't go with the narrative, they're like, you love Candace and Theo. And all those,
again, I refer back to my statement about just because I don't want to be constipated doesn't mean I want diarrhea. Like, I'm not a Candace fan. She thinks dinosaurs were a hoax. No. Anybody can be right about something. It doesn't, look at us.
But yeah, I mean, the whole thing that, somebody knows exactly what happened on that day. I mean, and why wouldn't somebody that knows what happened, if there wasn't some major conspiracy going on, why wouldn't they come forward and go, look, guys, we know what happened. It's not what you think. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. And unfortunately, the problem is when we find out, who knows? Because they're looking at least 6 more months before there's a trial because of all that terabytes of, they got to, here's the thing. They've got to go through every cell phone that was at that stupid event and scrub every bit of evidence that they don't want seen off of there before they can turn it over to the prosecution or to the defense. They can't just go, here's all the terabytes of information. They got to go through it first. And even then, after they get it, they got to go through it. And this is even going to take a long time, even with AI and stuff helping, like search this out in the
right.
But here's the thing. Somebody knows from a satellite image exactly what happened that day, without question, knows who did it, when they did it, how they did it, how they got away, how they got there. Somebody knows all that. And the other point,
have you seen the most recent Tim Dillon, where his comment about Kash Patel? Somebody before he got the job, somebody looked at this guy and said, "Oh, this is the perfect hire. He's not going to figure out who killed Charlie Kirk. He's not going to." Not to mention the hooters that Dillon was wearing throughout the whole episode, just brutal.
Yep. Have you seen
one of the first comments on that episode was a guy wrote in, he said, he goes, "I've only ever listened to this on Spotify. This is the first time I've ever watched it on YouTube. And I chose this episode. This is the first time I've seen Tim Dillon, and it's with those size H knockers, just slamming him into the desk." He's like, "Needless to say, I'll be watching them from now on."
Yeah, good points. We got to do more physical props. That was pretty funny.
Those things were like he set him back like $200. He was asking his producer, "How much do we pay for these tits?" And he's like, "It was like $200.
That sounds about
so
right.
Gnome's husband, basically, it's not an inexpensive. It's still cheaper than being a furry. I got to say that. Those suits are outrageously expensive. And let's be quite honest. This is Christy Gnome we're talking about. If her husband had been a furry, she'd have shot him. She'd have mistaken him for a dog and shot him right there in the room.
Good point. And so back to what I was talking about, the fact that they have all those terabytes of evidence from the cell phones, and they didn't go to anybody and ask them go, "Hey, can we take take the info off your phone and use it as evidence?" They're just taking it. They're just doing the NSA thing, and they're going, "All right, just go in there and take whatever we want." It's not like these people even know they're being, they're being admitted as evidence.
As of March next year, it's going to be even easier for them to just take whatever they want, considering that essentially every router will be the same.
Yeah, true. But back
They'll
to
all be owned by Starlink.
Right, exactly. But back to and of course, Kash Patel was hacked. right? You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I heard about that on Tim Dillon show.
Did you see that video? Tim Dillon was. Now, I should say that I've heard that video of Kash Patel dancing around has been debunked, and that's apparently not him. It's apparently somebody who just looks exactly like him. But I don't know.
Right.
It sure looks like him. That's for sure.
Right. Let's be honest. There's a lot of guys that look like him, though.
That's true. That's
in
true.
a certain part of the world.
Not that they all look the same to us at all.
No. But there's just those giant bugging out eyes, man. They really catch your attention.
Yeah.
All right. So my new favorite way to troll on X now is I wait and I see these posts from whoever about, Candace is a horrible person. She's jealous of Erica and she should go back to, whatever, yada, yada, yada. She's a horrible this, horrible that. So I always put a post saying, yeah, she's really horrible. She needs to stop stealing our theories too. And then I post our Charlie Kirk episode.
P.T. Barnum would be proud of me.
Yeah, and those, as much as we were disappointed by how YouTube removed some of our views and whether or not those were bots, etc., the views are going up. So you are getting this across to real people. I think it's got 160 views in the last 48 hours or something. It's up to close to 500, 430 or something. It's working.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll I was about to stop taking the victory laps, so maybe I'll keep doing it. It seems to be working.
Right. Next, in the same vein, I believe.
All right. This will probably be my last message about Charlie Kirk before the show. But so I'm watching all these crazy different theories that everybody has, and we'll discuss some of them on the show. But the thing is, the government, or the prosecution, I should say, could easily clear up many of these conspiracy theories with two things: a comprehensive copy of the autopsy and any ballistics reports they have. That would clear up 80% of the conspiracy theories. That would also pretty much put the trial in the public, and just like they don't like to. But I mean, we're going to be waiting 6 months anyway before any of this gets to trial. So.
Yeah,
they never share information like that with the public with an ongoing trial.
We're going to find out eventually, and that's going to be the things that are going to determine. And I mean, it's so obvious what's happening here, but we don't know. It's just obvious what's a lie.
I mean, if they had to launch a war in Iran to cover up the Epstein, what are they going to do to cover this up?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's just so blatantly obvious that nobody. They're trying very hard to not get to the bottom of this. I mean, that's the most obvious thing of all. And the thing is, the people that are either willing participants or actual co-conspirators is really the only question left, because there's people on X still pushing this lone gunman theory. And it's like, at this point, are you really just that stupid? Or are you getting the $7,000 checks? At this point, a lot
of these people that are running these agencies were only hired in order to fail.
Oh yeah,
to be scapegoats, to be set up
clearly.
And it's like clockwork. They're all Cash will be next.
Cannon fodder. All right, next.
All right, this is the last one.
All right, I almost sent you a video, but it's too long. It's 8 minutes, and it's basically just a guy swearing he's read the whole Epstein files and claims they're eating our children in every state. And of course, you and I don't have any children, so how do we know? But he calls on all kinds of people to stand up and do something. He lists a whole list of people, influencers, police, government, Proud Boy, anybody he could get to say, hey, we got to do something about this, except parents. He doesn't expect the parents to do anything. And this is the whole thing about this is I have a hard time believing this is even true, because if that many kids were going missing, why aren't we hearing more from parents? Do parents just not care that they haven't seen their kids in a couple of weeks or a couple of years? Or where's little Johnny? I haven't seen him since last year. I hadn't noticed he hadn't been coming to the dinner table. And how exactly does that work? How do all these parents still stay silent? How can there be rows of victims standing there saying they're victims of the Epstein class, and yet there's no rows of parents going, where are our children? This is the part that makes me just think it's all a bunch of bullshit. But, who knows?
Well, I think there's obviously spin put on it in both directions, but I can think of some factors that might, that could maybe help explain if border patrol and shit like that is being involved in separation of people from their families. A lot of the victims could be, snatched from other countries, or not have permanent records or social security numbers. But it does seem odd that there's not more parents.
Here's my problem.
You're not wrong.
Here's my problem. How many kids were dying of drunk driving? So the mothers were motivated enough for however many kids died from drunk driving to get together and create mad mothers against drunk driving. But yet there's not enough parents to go, hey, let's create a mothers against raping our children. Where's that?
Especially considering the Epstein thing occurring as it did in South Florida. Like most of those girls had parents. Those were definitely not immigrant kids. Those weren't people flown over, but from France or some third world country, or
even if you zoom out from the micro to the macro. I mean, how many kids do you think were really dying from drunk drivers? There couldn't have been as many as they're claiming are going missing and getting exploited and trafficked and all. So, like, the numbers just don't add up. I'm a math guy. It just doesn't seem like.
I mean, how much of it is maybe from the foster care system, where there is legitimately no caring parent that would file a report, or kids that were given up.
I don't think it could. I don't think it statistically could be the number they're saying. But you have a point. I agree with your point. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it could be either. But I'm saying it could be a factor, and it could be, that could be a certain number of those. Let's also not forget that not all parents are good parents.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, some of the most horrific cases of CP and cheese pizza, whatever the hell you want to call it, are from people marketing their own children.
Yeah.
Whether physically or just through photographs or video or whatever, but who has better access to the kids than the parents?
Yeah.
Which is just disgusting.
Yeah. It's like, where
the
are
whole
the parents?
thing is disgusting.
All right. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and play the 2 Fishback clips you got, and then we'll talk about that, which kind of ties in a little bit with what we're talking about.
Why are there child pornography laws then? Right? Why are we arresting? Right. So if you can't legislate morality, then what are we even doing? Why is there a government? Why is murder illegal if you can't legislate morality? So clearly we can. Mm-hmm. The question, though, is, are we going to fall for this lie that comes from the left and also parts of the right that says that you're entitled to liberty, 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 liberty? Well, if you have the liberty to sell your own body, why can't you sell your kid's body on the internet on OnlyFans, right? Well, it's your freedom. So where do we draw the line there? This idea.
All right. I understand he's trying to be sarcastic and facetious, or at least I think that's the vibe he's trying to put across, but he's not doing a very good job of it.
Yeah.
And this, as far as legislating morality, yes, indeed we do. But people do have morals aside from that.
Yeah.
Penn Jillette was one of my favorite entertainers, and also a very outspoken atheist and somebody I admire. Once in an interview, somebody asked him, if you don't believe in any objective morality of, God and a higher power, why don't you just go around murdering people? Is it just because of the law? And he goes, no, I've killed exactly as many people as I want to. So I don't want to kill people. It's not something I'm into. It's not, it's not just the law telling me not to. I mean,
that whole tirade is just so, first of all, the thought that you can legislate morality is just ridiculous. You
can pass laws against acts.
Yeah. You can legislate against morality all you can. You can make more drug laws. You can make more laws against guns, which he would never do, which would be legislating morality. It's like, wait a minute, you're an idiot.
And had he chosen those as examples to bring up, then, you might have had a little bit of a better argument. But to go right into why can't you sell your kids?
He can't say he wants to outlaw guns. Which would be legislating morality. That's what he's talking about. You can't say that. You're just endorsing it without saying it, you dumbass. Anyway, play the other clip of him being equally stupid. I had so high hopes for this guy too.
Be the first in the country to adhere to the science and the research on offer that says the COVID vaccine is a danger, it is a public health threat. We will pull the COVID vaccine from the market. It will not be allowed in Florida.
Okay. Everybody knows we are not fans of the COVID injection, but at the same time, I think if you're stupid enough to want it, you should be able to get it. He's kind of extending the drug war, if anything. It's like, no, you're going the wrong way, dude. You're going the wrong way. But what are you going to do?
This whole rise of complete anti-vaccine is just dangerous and not, first of all, there's a lot of different kinds of vaccines that work by different mechanisms.
Right.
Some are more old and tried and true, and some are more new and a little more experimental. Most of them went through years and years of trials. This recent one, the COVID ones, did not. They're not, it's not, you're comparing apples and oranges when you start talking about all the vaccines.
Speaking of which, I was talking to my landlord's boyfriend about something. I forget what it was, but it turned political for a second. And he starts ranting and raving about Trump and ICE and stuff like that I kind of, yeah, you're probably right about that. And then he starts going, and what the fuck? Now polio's back. Now we can't have vaccines with polio. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? what happened there? First of all, who says polio is back? And if it is, so what?
It's in a couple of other countries. It's not back in the United States. Right. We talked about this once on one of the pods.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's acting like I almost felt I didn't say anything to him. I just kind of like, okay, see you later. I didn't even argue with him. But I felt like saying, you could go out and get a polio vaccine if you're that worried about it, right? Good catch.
Yeah.
What do you have, an earthquake over there?
No, I don't know what happened. I guess my foot bumped into the table or something. But yeah, that was a near disaster. How loud was it on your end?
No, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, the whole thing is so. Anyway, all right. What else we got? Oh, play the Easter one. That one's pretty good.
Yeah, all right. That is a pretty good one. What's funny is I had already seen not footage of this, but footage of something else with the same exact actor.
It's funny. Until yesterday morning, I didn't know it was Easter. I was like, my landlord came over and was like, we're having some people over Easter. I'm like, oh, is today Easter? All right, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Wait a minute. I'm hearing that Jesus has left the tomb. He's coming back out.
So is he number 3 because of the Trinity?
I would say
this is He's back in the game. Jesus Christ from out of nowhere. He rises up. He is risen indeed. Bang! Bang! Moments ago, his body was broken. We're seeing something for the first time ever, folks. At his core, he's a coach's player, but that's what the fans love about him. Most of them, at least. The looks of disbelief on the faces of the fans of Team L'Chaim says it all. However, he will not be denied.
That's good shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. First of all, is he number 3 because of the Trinity or some other reason? And secondly, why did they put him in those 70s shorts, the short shorts? They don't wear those shorts in the NBA anymore.
Little retro action, I guess. Yeah. Here's what's funny. I was watching we know what happened on the Theo Rogan, whatever. Anytime I see Theo Vaughn, I'm thinking to myself, just think if in 100 years people start, making shit up about Theo and what a great guy he was and how he, provided bread to the masses and fed them, in a couple 100 years, Theo could be the new Messiah if he plays his cards right.
Did I already talk about this on one of the other pods? I mentioned Theo Vaughn and Mike Rowe talking to each other.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I don't think I did. I think it was just something I said to somebody on the phone. So there's a little excerpt of him and Mike Rowe is on his show,
right?
And somehow the subject of like Civil War reenactments comes up, and Theo's from down south. And he's like, "Yeah, we used to go to that all the time." And Mike Rowe looks at it and he goes, "What side were you on?" Big, long, awkward pause, and then Theo goes, "Well, you got to support the home team."
Dude, I guess Theo and Jake, the boxer idiot, what's his name? Jake Paul. Jake Paul, I guess, just did one. And I've seen clips of it. And it's just like, it's kind of comical just to watch two that big of an idiots in a room together trying to talk to each other over microphones. It's just like, these guys are not smart, are they?
Did you see the Fishback guy went on Matan?
Yes, I did.
I'm surprised we don't have any clips of that queued up.
I did actually think I did have a clip of that from back. We just never got to it. But yes, I saw that. That was great. I thought he did pretty good, to tell you the truth, considering. But, you know, I don't. Why would you even go
Mike
on?
was like passed out underneath the desk.
Yeah. Why would you even go on that show, though, if you're running for a serious office? I mean, I know he's trying to connect with the kids, I guess, but still.
I can get going on Rogan and even Theo Vaughn and maybe even Tom Segura or something, but Matan?
No.
That's a minefield.
Maybe
dancing through a minefield with that guy.
I'd go on Matan after I got elected, but not before. That is true. All right, what else we got?
Let's see. I've got something. This is just a post, but we can read it together and react to it.
I knew you were you had the same reaction I did on this, I'm sure.
So Ozempic was designed for diabetes. Then it became the biggest weight loss drug in history. Now, a massive new study shows it also significantly reduces depression, anxiety, and addiction risk. One drug, 3 completely different conditions. Science is barely keeping up with what GLP-1s are doing. The study found that people taking semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy, saw major drops in depression and anxiety alongside the weight loss effects everyone already knew about. It also showed reduced risk of substance use disorders, a weight loss drug that may help treat addiction. Nobody predicted that. So yeah, your subject to me when you sent that is what happens when you quit taking it, and then all those things go away. You gain all your weight back, and everything else happens too.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, all right,
the paradigm, they want you to. They don't want to cure anything. They just want to treat it. So yeah, take this forever.
You're trading addictions. You're going, okay, now I'm off the coke and the heroin, and I'm not a fat pig anymore, but I got to take this shit for the rest of my life that's going to ruin my kidneys and my liver. So pick your poison.
Look on the monetary, on the bright side, your insurance wasn't paying for the coke and the heroin. That was out of pocket.
Good point. I didn't even think about that.
It's all a trade-off. It's all a balance.
There's that Jewish side coming through.
Yep. In my blood.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to talk about that. You know, I'd say there's probably almost as a good a chance that I'm about as Jewish as you are. Because I mean,
and probably.
I don't know if I know on my dad's side, they've been in this country since, George Washington at least. So I'm sure there's probably a good chance some Jewry got mixed in sometime there. Not to mention, my grandmother she looked Jewish. I mean, she seemed like a little Jewish lady. So I don't know. She could have been full freaking Jewish. I have no idea. I mean,
I'm only ethnically Jewish. It only half. Right. Like, according to Jews, I'm not Jewish. My mom was not Jewish.
Yeah,
she was
exactly.
Scotch and Irish.
Yeah, you're Ashkenazi. You're Eastern European,
On my dad's side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's your mom's ethnicity? Is she Irish or something like that?
Scotch. Her maiden name was Ballantyne with a B.
Gotcha. Yeah, you can tell by looking at her. Whiskey. You can tell by looking at her. She's kind of Irish, Scottish, whatever. Speaking of which, play the one now that I said for you not to watch. That's a perfect tailboard into that one.
I didn't have that one queued up. I thought you were going to surprise me.
I got it. I got it right here. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'll
you
play
do that one. And I was going to also add, if you're going to send me something with a subject do not watch, don't send it. Just show it to me on the show, and I don't have to fight my inner demons. I've wanted to open it and look at it, but I was like, no, I'll hold off.
All right, here we go. Now I'm going to only play the first little bit, and then I'm going to make you guess.
Country in Europe that aids Israel the most. You would never guess that this country aids tens of billions of euros to Israel. Firstly, the country in Europe that gives the least aid to Israel is Ireland because of its strong support for Palestine and anti-occupation policies. So what is the country in Europe that aids Israel the most? 5th place, the Netherlands, which gives about...
All right.
You want me to guess?
I guessed already. When I was watching this, I was like, I can tell you what number one is right now. You can't guess?
I would. My first guess would be the UK or England.
Nope. Come on, man.
This is specifically Europe they're talking about, right? So
UK's on the list, but they're not the biggest supporter. Come on, man. You can do this. You know where they're from.
Poland?
No, close.
Definitely not Poland, but
so
Germany,
close. Germany. It's Nazis funding Nazis. I mean, come on, man. Watch this here.
1 billion euros in aid to Israel. 4th place, Italy. Italy's aid includes trade and investment, infrastructure development, and humanitarian projects. And Italy has accumulated about 2 billion euros in aid. 3rd place, the United Kingdom. United Kingdom believes that support for Israel will help maintain stability in the Middle East region, in line with its long-term strategic interests. The United Kingdom cumulative aid to Israel 3 billion euros. 2nd place, France. France exports advanced weapon systems to Israel and conducts joint military exercises with it. France's cumulative assistance to Israel, 5 billion euros. Before announcing the first place, write in the comments section what you think is the country in Europe that aids Israel
Which
the most.
one do you
I don't know why
think?
they keep looking up at Scandinavia. It ain't up
with
there.
a total of about
they make
70
you did.
billion
They
euros since the last century, and also sells
Better
advanced
misdirect
submarines to
y'all
Israel
over.
to help it maintain regional security. That country is Germany.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I just really find amazing to me is that there's so many people that just refuse to just listen. How hard can it be to imagine that, like, look, Germans didn't like the Jews. At some point before the war even broke out, they were like, we don't like you guys. We want you out. We don't like you at all. So they started this idea of, hey, let's send all these Jews to Palestine. They even set up a kind of a masonry type thing where you deposited your money in Germany and you went to Palestine and they gave it back to you there in gold or some shit like that or whatever. So like the whole, the Jews were Nazis. Nazis are Zionists. Nazis created Zionism. Zionism equals Nazism. It's social, it's National Socialism. It's all the same thing. It's like people are like, how dare you call these Jews Nazis? I'm like, well, that's what they are. What do you think a capo is? I mean, that's the Naziest of the Nazi. Talk about Jew hating. I mean, there are guys that were Jewish that helped, go get on the train. And as far as they knew, they might have been sending them to fucking Palestine. They might have not even known where they were going, Anyway, this whole thing that the Holocaust from World War II is this fucking golden cow you can't touch, or it's just sacred cow, I should say. It's just ridiculous. It's just like, look, you can call it revisionist history if you want, but listen, if the victors write all the history, it ain't going to be completely true. Somebody's got to lend an air of truth to actual history, or else we're never going to stop repeating it.
Well, I mean, I don't deny that. The Holocaust happened.
Oh, yeah.
There were concentration camps. They were gassing and killing people.
Well, here's the thing.
Although a lot of the ideas that they came up with regarding eugenics came from the United States and the way we dealt with our Native American population.
Well, I would argue that I don't think they gassed or killed that many people unless they had just gotten to the point where they couldn't work anymore, because that's what they really did, is they worked them to death. They're the people that made all the stuff. The concentration camps are where they got the labor to make the tanks and the planes and the ammunition and all that stuff. It was a labor force. It wasn't,
I agree with it being a labor force. The words printed over it was like work equals freedom, or not work. I forget what the term work was involved.
Right.
But I think that when they knew that they were losing, when the war was ending, I think then they ramped into full blown.
Possibly
at that point.
And
I think then it became mass extermination.
And like I say, once you get to the point where like that's it, I can't work anymore. Well, they're not going to keep feeding you. Why are we going to feed you anymore if you're not going to work? But that's the easiest way to deal with them. Just stop feeding them, or why go through all the process of setting up gas chambers and spending money on chemicals unless it's became a problem and you really have to get rid of 30,000 people a day, which they'd have to have done for 4 years to get to 6 million. But I digress. Anyway. All right. What else we got?
I only have one more, I believe. Involving statins.
Yeah, that's a good one.
As a physician-caused disease, mark my words, in the next 2 years, maybe even next week, it'll pop up in the newspaper. There's more than enough information to prove that it's a physician-caused disease. Alzheimer's disease is a disease that did not occur, even by another name, 40 years ago. It only became recognized as a disease in 1979, 25 years ago. Today, it's the number 4 killer of adults over the age of 65, behind... Well, I have to go in doctors now. Doctors, cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. Now, our brains are made up of 75% a fatty insulation material called myelin. How many of you heard of myelin? Good. Well, myelin is this fatty insulation material in the brain. How many of you eaten a brain sandwich, brain and egg sandwich? Oh, you haven't lived until you eat a brain sandwich. It is good. A little bit of onion and mustard. I mean, there's nothing better than a brain sandwich. It's real cheap now because everybody's afraid of, mad cow disease. So I buy more brains and I eat it.
Pork brains. Problem solved.
But at any rate, this myelin makes up 75% of our brain weight. It's so important to the animal and human brain. Myelin is 75% of our brain weight. And myelin is 100% cholesterol.
All right, that's as far as the video actually goes. I believe there's some text that went along with it. Statins shred the cholesterol that makes up 75% of your brain's insulation.
We've been saying this on the show for a while, but my point being that now that
your mom was on statins, wasn't she?
I was just going to say that. Who do I sue? Who do I sue for killing my mother? I mean, if he says all this proof exists that it's, who do I sue? Do I sue Big Pharma? I mean, aren't they exempt from suit anyway? I mean, but clearly those people killed my mother.
Well, no, in some regards, in the vaccine regards, they are, but not for something like that. I've, at certain points in my health history, they've attempted to put me on statins, and I always refused.
Yeah,
I've never been on them.
Unfortunately, my mother would take anything they gave her. that was her. She was a major hypochondriac. That was just, which is hilarious. And I think I pointed this out before. She was scared to death of dying early, and then for the last 5 years of her life, begged me to kill her. So look out what you asked for. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I got one queued up here that's pretty good. But before I play it, let's examine the word token. All right, you know what that means, right? You know what a token is. Now, do you pick?
Well, I think I know what regards you're using it this time, but yeah,
racially, a racial token. All right, so normally, do you pick a racial token to make you look good, or do you pick a racial token to make you look bad? Like, I don't, do you, like, say let's take the South Park episode where they pick the token black kid to play bass and he's just automatically good at it. Would they?
Whose name is Token?
Yeah, right. So
let's not forget.
Would there be an instance where you'd pick Token and hope he was bad? I don't know.
I mean, it depends what message are you trying to send? Are you trying to disprove the stereotype? In which case, yeah.
With that exact sentiment in mind, tell me what the message they're sending here is real quick. Hold on. Let me get this up here real quick.
Is this the one I was told not to watch?
No, we just watched that one. This is the one I'm talking about.
Rick Moranis? Honey, I shrunk my balls.
I mean, so clearly this guy.
I mean, that's horrible, but the shoes are fucking awesome. See a reflection of those fuckers.
Clearly, this guy was a token, but they had to have been able to find a white guy that danced better than that. That's just, I know there were white people back then that could dance, and they picked this guy?
He was gacked out, too, from the looks of him.
Oh, I got to give credit to Sam Tripoli on that one. He posted that. That was hilarious. All right. So I'm going to go back into moon landing skepticism and moonshot skepticism here. Do you think what they're doing now is real?
Well, they're not trying to land. They're just flying around it, right?
But do you think the guys are on that rocket?
Yeah.
Did you see the things that go sliding down after that could have easily had them in it as it lifted off? Did you watch the liftoff?
No, I didn't watch the launch, no.
All right, there are these big containers as soon as it starts lifting off that go sliding down this cable away from the rocket that could easily have the astronauts in them. All right, let me show you. Let's show you this this clip and get your take on this. This is somebody brought this up, and they're bringing up all kinds of stuff that's kind of maybe not, but this one is pretty like, okay, wait a minute. All right. Now I want you to explain how this works.
Oh my God.
Okay. You see what's wrong with that?
Play it again. You talking about how the lighting changes?
No, it's nothing that. It's nothing. It's nothing like that. There's 4 guys on the ship, right? Who's manning the camera?
I don't know.
Who's moving the camera around, putting it into the window to get the shot of Earth?
I don't know. it's on a tripod or something, or it's spinning around in 0G. I don't know.
Yeah, it's spinning around awfully accurately in 0G to go right up to the window and get a convenient shot of the Earth. I don't know, man.
Wait, play it again.
All right, hold on. I got to share it again.
I'm gonna say that if they're 0G and you set the camera there and it had a slight spin to it, because it's not like it perfectly framed the window, I could see that being realistic.
How did it stop?
That's just when they stopped the recording. It probably continued.
No, it
on
looked
after
like
that,
the camera was turning and then it just kind of stopped at the window. And you could be right. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I'm not sold.
Look, I'm on board for most. I love a good rabbit hole, but not everything is a conspiracy. I think they're there.
Well, the thing is, listen. At least this time, I saw a presentation where they're saying that the cabin or rocket or whatever the fuck it's called that they're going in is actually lead lined to make it through the Van Allen belt this time. Whereas they even pointed out last time they didn't have that. How they survived, I have no idea. All they had was like a little thin layer of aluminum. That doesn't stop radiation.
Well, the Van Allen belt is not the same everywhere. It's same strength, and it's not a unified field. There's pockets of it where it's worse or better, and you're going through it at a fairly good clip. So, I mean, I've probably had more CT scan radiation in the course of my life than you get going through the Van Allen belt.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You wouldn't want to stall there and stay.
They killed all kinds of stuff trying to send it through the Van Allen belt. Dogs and cats and monkeys and all kinds of shit.
Before they had any idea on shielding. But
that's true. That's true. But, and the other part is a lot of them are saying, and this could just be a Freudian slip or it could be just, them being stupid. But a lot of them are saying, we're going the farthest that a man has ever been. And they keep making the statement, man's never been to the moon. And we're going, they just making some slips here. I don't know. I'm just one of those, I'll buy it when I see it kind of guys. And I'm not going to the moon, so I'm never going to know. So who cares?
Right. We would love somebody to call and give us their opinion on this, though. And if they wanted to, that would be 904-549-9024.
Good job. Good catch. All right. I got this other video that since we're both native Floridians, I figured we should probably give a
the one from the Daily Show?
Yeah. We'll give a take on what she says here.
Right. Florida, God's waiting room. It's home to theme parks. The Everglades, your Peepaw, and of course,
newlyweds and nearly deads.
Before committing a sexual act on a tree, yelling he was a god.
Suspects tried to start a fire with spaghetti sauce.
Was karate kicking those birds that attacked 2 people.
Every week there's a new headline out of Florida. Wild, shocking, unnecessarily sexual.
Masturbating at
not unnecessarily.
Acting
But have we ever stopped to ask the question, why? Something's happening to men in Florida, and it can't just be a coincidence.
This with the orange juice.
Winning journalist, it's my responsibility to uncover the truth, to reveal.
We're not going to watch the whole thing, I'm sure of it.
To answer the question, what makes a man
Florida man?
Florida man?
A Florida man. Florida man. Florida man.
We're going to be commenting on all the Florida men. Don't worry.
First thing I did was so we can make some comments.
Mostly on Craigslist and Facebook. I needed to locate some of these real-life Florida men.
First up was Robbie. Last July, he ran into a liquor store with a live alligator.
So one thing I wanted to say is I did watch this all the way through when you sent it to me, and I knew what the primary answer was before they even got to the end.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll save it for the video.
Exactly.
But the Florida man thing, I've known. How many Florida men have you known that you would consider to be a Florida man, like a good rock solid hillbilly alcoholic drug head?
You know my uncle, right?
Okay, fair enough. He's definitely a Florida man. I'll give you that.
Florida man. What are you fucking talking about? And I won't spoil.
He is a prime example.
I won't spoil the ending, but actually, he's not from Florida. To tell you the truth, he was born in New York. But anyway, here we go.
Some reason.
Florida man Robbie Stratton decided to bring an alligator with him while making a beer run.
Yeah, I definitely regret it. That was stupid.
Talk to me about the night that you became Florida man.
Can't really tell you much about that night. There's too much alcohol involved that night.
Not just alcohol, though. There's probably a deep-rooted conspiracy.
No, it was alcohol.
What was it about Florida that made you do what you did?
It was hot. It was humid.
The heat makes you do crazy things.
The heat makes you do crazy things. Alcohol makes you do crazy things.
But isn't there something that all Florida men
cocaine
share?
is a hell of a
There's
drug.
something behind it.
Mental health issues?
No, that couldn't be it. And this wasn't the only man
This chick
affected.
is funny.
He's been hit with charges after pictures in this video showing him handling an alligator, which he posted, were seen by law enforcement.
A real name Jordan Bedford, but I go by the alligator.
Pause.
Okay.
Why do so many of the Florida man stories involve the alligator? Is it just because it's a catchier headline? But there really is a lot of using alligators to rob stores, taking alligators in places. This guy dancing with alligators and giving himself the name Alligator Man.
Well, this guy would be just as at home in Louisiana, though. If you ask me, that sounds like where he's from. You know?
Yeah, just swamp man in general.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Alligator man, what's the common factor among all Florida men?
We all different. Well, I'm different from the rest because I do the wrong thing in the right way, if that makes sense.
No.
No? So you're not from Florida,
All right,
so you don't
pause.
understand my language, what I'm talking right.
Sadly, I am from Florida, and I knew what he meant immediately. The very first time he said it, I was like, yeah, I get that, and I know people that do that, and I have on occasion. All right.
No, but I do the wild things. Anything you think of, I probably do it. Like I tell
Anything?
you, anything. I catch gators.
Anything?
Anything. Well, not anything.
Did he?
Basically anything. When it comes to the reptile animals, mainly the alligators, though. Wait, like here in Florida, you're not allowed to catch an alligator. I mean, I didn't know that before, but I know now. I just had a little fun, put them on a leash and dance with the last one they seen.
What kind of dancing did you do with the alligator?
The alligator man dance.
Why can't
gotta
you catch
kick your
him?
feet, spell alligator in
They're
the
not endangered.
There's
There's a shitload of them.
They used to be endangered, so it may be an old law or something, but I don't get it either.
Yeah.
Why can't you fucking touch an alligator?
I mean,
That's stupid.
Lake Okeechobee has over 30,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
there's
what.
plenty of alligators.
Hey, listen, we could go through that. We should do that on an episode to just break open the book of laws and go through and look at how many fucking ridiculously stupid laws are on the books. We could do a whole episode.
There's still shit from this 1800s
Oh, yeah.
about.
I
you know,
think they
you
got
can't get your mule drunk on the weekend. And
I
it's
think
just
they
all
got
kinds
rid of it finally,
insanity.
but till at least the 80s or 90s. There was a law in Florida that you couldn't go down a road that didn't have streetlights unless there was a guy walking out in front of your car 100 feet with a fucking lantern, and you could have got a ticket for that.
Is it still illegal in Florida to drive barefoot? I know that was a thing.
Really? I never heard of that.
Yeah.
That one. No. Yeah. I don't know. All right. Let's see what else is illegal.
saying as you're dancing, as you're going around, you spell an alligator and you end it with the stomp. The alligator man got a commercial too.
You have a commercial?
Yeah, he got a commercial. He got a theme song. Everybody sing like, nah, 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 it's the alligator man.
That is 100% the McDonald's jingle.
Well, it's the alligator man's on now.
I see what you're saying about doing the wrong thing in the right way and how it works.
It worked.
Yeah.
Where do you find alligators in Florida?
If there's a lake, there's a gator.
Yeah.
I promise you. That's
This
everywhere.
is great.
There's gators everywhere.
Mysteries are very hard to get about.
She gone.
So many Florida men, so many alligators. Surely there's a Florida man who's normal.
Hi, Missy. I am Captain Sophie Silvertips, and
right,
I
stop.
hail out of the island called Marathon.
As soon as I saw this guy, my first thought was Pirate Steve from Dodgeball. That was the very first character I thought of. Arr.
Arr.
There be no other place for Steve.
If you can, oh yeah, that's perfect.
You see a lot of guys like this, and like, I mean, this guy's down in the Keys, but you see a lot of them in St. Augustine
Yeah.
too. They're all about pirates there.
To Walt Disney World, fucking Tampa, you see them everywhere.
Yeah,
anywhere
Down in the
tourists.
Florida Keys.
Cool. And you're a pirate?
Well, I'm a pirate most of the day. When I'm not, I'm a landscaper.
What could a landscaper pirate possibly have done?
A man dressed as a pirate is accused of shooting his gun on the 7 Mile Bridge in South Florida.
So I took out my flintlocks to shoot at the sun. Now, mind you, there was no projectiles.
Yeah, you can put that. You don't
Simply
have to
gunpowder,
just
right?
put it away. Why do you defend what you did?
Well, I defend my Second Amendment right.
Your Second
Just
Amendment
fuck the
right to
sun.
shoot a gun into the sun?
Yeah, is it really? Come on, man. I mean, I get the law. Can't just go shooting your gun off, whatever. But when you get there and the guy's got a musket, he tells you it doesn't have a ball in it. And it's like, oh, okay, just get the fuck out of here then.
Yeah.
Do you really
you're
have
still
to
kind of a public nuisance, and you're probably breaking some kind of decibel noise pollution
whatever happened
law,
to
but-
discretion? Well, I can tell you what happened to discretion is they're a bunch of fucking idiots, and they need to get rid of these stupid laws. But anyway,
right.
Here we go.
And also, he could have chosen a better place to do it than on the 7 Mile Bridge. But
well, actually, no. How the fuck did they even catch him on the 7 Mile Bridge? What, were they right there? How did they?
somebody probably called it in and said, "There's a fucking lunatic on the
so they
side of the
had,
bridge dressed
so
like a
they
pirate."
had to like detain him there for 10 to 15, 20 minutes for somebody to get to the middle of the. I mean, it's just the whole thing is. But anyway, I digress about how ridiculous this story within the ridiculous story is. Here we go.
But not only is this gold the comment,
How
but
exactly-
pausing it makes it legal. We got to keep
How
pausing
exactly
it.
did you become a Florida man?
To become a Florida man, you must first be a Florida boy.
And you were talking to two
All right,
Florida boys
That's
right
clearly
here.
not true. That's not true because your uncle is a Florida man, and as you previously stated, he was not born in Florida.
That is correct.
You don't have to be a Florida boy to become a Florida man.
That is absolutely correct. We are Florida boys. I was born in Florida. You were born in Florida, right?
Born in Miami.
Yep, there you go.
And both my parents were born in Florida, so I'm a second generation.
Wow, yeah, you're even more Floridian than me.
Right?
Wow.
And my mom's mom, my grandmother, was born on Military Trail in West Palm when it was still a dirt road.
Holy shit.
So yeah, I'm an old cracker.
Jesus, you should be king here. All right.
Life that it gives you as a boy to hone your skills to be, in my case, a Florida pirate man.
Have you always been a Florida man?
No. Originally, I hailed from Chicago.
Oh, so you're a transplant.
I was then.
Yeah, exactly.
But since then, I've lived my entire life here in the Keys.
What do you think is behind every Florida man?
Must be the water that we're drinking down here to drive us to what we do.
It's a water conspiracy.
And women.
Women.
Yeah. They're the ones that drive you crazy.
And while I was running away from these unusual men, I was heading towards some new ideas. There had to be a common thread. What was I missing? There was something different about this state. So many Florida man stories filling the news. Did Florida reporters know something I didn't? I went to an undisclosed orange grove to meet a very casually dressed journalist to find out.
What can you tell me about these Florida man stories? I mean, I have my own research, but
Sure.
you just give me yours just so we can compare notes.
Yeah, I mean, they are true. People do weird things here in Florida, and it gets into the news.
No shit.
Yeah, a major factor is that we went from being the least populated southern state in 1940 to now being the third most populous state in the country.
Sure.
We've got
This nerd knew a lot about Florida, and while he mostly rambled, I was connecting the dots.
built tons of homes everywhere where there used to be just wilderness.
If there's a lake, there's a gator.
You can get just about any kind of weapon you want here.
This is United.
49th among the states in funding for mental health treatment.
Mental health issues?
Another big factor
And
is
it's hot.
Florida was the first state in the nation to pass this landmark law called the Sunshine Act that
There it
says
is.
that basically any government document is available for reporters to go in and see. Police reports, for instance, are all open for inspection by reporters
And that's when it hit me,
So
the
yeah, pause
missing piece of the puzzle.
by a guy named Emery Ridge.
Shut up. That's it.
What's it?
It's the Sunshine Act.
Yeah.
It's not what causes Florida man. It's why we hear about Florida man.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
do crazy shit
pretty much.
everywhere.
I just figured it out all by myself. I'm a genius.
Florida man has been the butt of countless jokes, but maybe that's not fair. Well, this guy was pretty weird. The Sunshine Act makes it easier to discover Florida man stories, but I was just scratching the surface. We may not hear about them as much, but it turns out there are Florida men in every state.
Trying to shoot the dog shoots its owner. At the emoji.
And while Florida will always be America's petri dish of batshit behavior, the truth is, there's a little Florida man in all of us.
Actually, Florida is the Australia. Best way to put it.
Yeah,
This is
that's a
where
good way.
most of the things that bite, sting, it's hot. We don't have kangaroos, but
Well, here's the thing, and you and I have experienced this firsthand, being in the restaurant business. Nobody realizes. All right, they call America the melting pot of the world. Well, guess what? Florida is the melting pot of America. No other state do you go to. You don't go to Wyoming. Well, maybe Wyoming. You don't go to Arkansas and sit down next to some guy and go, yeah, where are you from? Oh, I'm from New York, but we figured we'd come down here and start a bar and retire. And, we don't really know anything about running a bar. That's the only people that do that come to Florida. And as you and I know, being in the restaurant business, there's tons of people that, for whatever reason, live up north, think they can come down here and open a bar or a restaurant without knowing the first fucking thing about how to run a bar or a restaurant, and just think they can do it. And even though they were a travel agent or an accountant or a mechanic or whatever for their previous endeavors, they decide, let's just move to Florida and do whatever the fuck we think we can do. And that's why you get so many crazy,
to refer back
insane
to my third
fuckers.
generation Floridian status, you rarely meet people in Florida that are from Florida. It's always from somewhere else, and not just from all the other states in the United States, which for sure a lot of people come down here to retire or business or whatever like that. But we also have, an honest to God, a lot of immigration, both legal and illegal, because we're a fucking peninsula. It's easy to get to us.
Yeah.
Miami is the banking capital of all of the Caribbean and Central America. That's where the money is.
Yeah, Miami,
it's not in those foreign countries. It's right there in Miami.
Yeah, Miami is the London of the Latin world for sure.
Absolutely,
the banking hub. And this is the other thing that people complain about Florida driving. It's like, we get the shittiest drivers from all over the fucking world. We get drivers from places that they've never even seen a car. Imagine coming here from Haiti. Oh, now you got to drive now. Oh, really? What's a car? How does that work?
Huge difference though between Central Florida and all the way through it, from South Central to Central to North Central Florida, and all of the edges.
Oh yeah,
the coast is where most of the, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In Central Florida, you run into a lot more third and fourth actual generation Floridians that have lived here forever, and they are pretty hillbilly. They're crackers.
It's funny you bring that up, because if you
want in Gainesville, it's people from Georgia and here talk the same.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Sure. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because if we wanted to live over by your sister in Hudson, Florida, we could buy a really nice house right now. Places are cheap over there. But
I thought they were cheaper further south, but
well, anywhere over there, anywhere on the West Coast, way cheaper. Of course, a lot more inventory, because you got all the ones that are, as we did on that one FEMA story, the 50-50, they either got to be torn down or fixed up or whatever. So the inventory is insane, which makes all the prices come down. And you can get, I looked at a house that literally, if you tried to buy that house on this coast, would be $3 million. You can get it over on that coast, on the water, with a pool, about a 5-bedroom, 3 fucking bedroom on a canal that goes right out to the Gulf, for about $600,000. It's huge, the differences. Yeah. Anyway, but we should. We're kind of running out of time for this, but I want to do an episode where we just go through and do the listing stuff and look through all the.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty fun.
Zillow episode.
Yeah, for sure. We're about done with this one, right? It's been an hour already.
Yeah, we pretty much we're hitting the mark there. So I think we need to once again remind you to call us at the Slack line, 904-549-9024. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, and subscribe.
Especially
I guess,
subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything,
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I think people don't. I can't subscribe because I can't sign in, but I think a lot of people don't subscribe because they think it's going to cost them money, or do they even? Does it make them get emails or something? You'd have to put in your email address.
Nothing. No.
So
if you wanted to hit the bell for notifications so that you'd be alerted every time one of our shorts or one of our episodes drops, then you would get little email notifications. But I'm not even asking you to do that.
Right.
Just hit what exactly does subscribe? Leave a comment.
What exactly happens if you do hit the subscribe button?
It counts towards.
It
registers
kind of puts
YouTube. It's another subber. It's a further
but
step
for the person that clicks it, it just puts it in your algorithm a little more or something.
Yeah, and once you've subscribed, then you'll start seeing our episodes pop up in your feed.
Gotcha.
You won't have to go looking for us as much, and it helps push us out to other people as well. Gotcha. Yeah, it really does help the channel.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to log on to YouTube one of these days. Anyway. All right, guys. I guess that'll do it. Wrap it up for this lovely episode, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.